And in that moment, I knew that he had the same hopes that I did. And it didn't matter how our kids came to us, that we were going to have kids and we were going to be a family. What's happened in my life for the better is becoming a mother. When I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed as a diabetic, a juvenile diabetic. And back then there wasn't a lot they knew, especially in this area where I live. And so there was complications, and there was a lot of complications when I was little. And at age 15, my doctors told me that I would never be a mom. That was not in my cards. And of course, being a teenager and stubborn, I was like, whatever, I am so going to be a mom. That's the only thing I've ever really wanted to be. And but still, that really hurt me as a person. And I immediately came to the conclusion that if I wasn't going to be able to have my own children, that adoption was going to be definitely part of my family plan. So that was decided at 15, and that was how I was going to become a mother. And years went on, high school, college, dated a little bit, and there always came that point in the relationship where I was like, okay, I have to tell this person that I'm dating that this, there's a possibility of me not being able to be a mom, but I've always thought about adoption. And when I was dating my sweetheart now, I pulled him aside and I said, I do not want to rob you of the chance of being a dad, but due to my health and due to my past, I may not be able to have kids. And he looked me straight in the eye and said, we'll have kids. And in that moment, I knew that he had the same hopes that I did. And it didn't matter how our kids came to us, that we were going to have kids and we were going to be a family. And it was that moment where I truly fell in love with my husband. And so anyway, he proposed, we got married, wonderful, surprise, 9 months later we were pregnant after we were married, and that was a big surprise to us. And that pregnancy was fantastic. It was beautiful. It was, I wasn't one of those who was sick all the time. It was just a great pregnancy. And when our son finally came to us, he was just perfect. And we both thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have like 27 kids. This is how life is going to be, And it was great, and we had our son, and we just enjoyed being parents, and truly fell in love with being a mom. And I have been blessed that I have a husband who has let me be at home and be a mom and do the one thing that I have always wanted to do. And then we started thinking about another one. Let's have more. This one was so great. Let's do it again. So we tried, and it took forever. And we finally got pregnant again. And anything that could go wrong in that pregnancy did. There were cysts, there were, possible surgeries, there were pre-labor, bed rest, everything. It was not a happy time, and both my husband and I knew that this is our last pregnancy. It was really scary. But we were just trying to get our little daughter here, and we were scared that she wasn't going to make it. And we just hoped she would make it and come to us and be healthy, and she did. She came, and she came in all her glory. And she came out, and she had a few complications at birth, but she has been just vibrant and healthy and happy since then, and we have been truly blessed to have those babies. And then, of course, it's that time again. We're going through life. We're going through these 2 great kids, and we're just feeling that there's more babies out there. And after my daughter was born, every doctor I talked to said you probably shouldn't get pregnant or give birth again. You are capable of getting pregnant, but to do that would put you or your child at risk, possibly death for one or both of you. And so that ended the pregnancy deal for us. And but we still had hopes. We still had hopes for more children, and we knew that there were more children in our family. And so we started filling out our adoption papers, and we chose an agency, and we pursued that. And it's a little bit of a process, but within those times, we just knew that that was the right thing, and that was always part of our family plan. It was always something we were going to do. And within that time, there were opportunities for children to come to our home. There were actually 9 opportunities to have different children or different babies come to our home, and they just weren't right. They weren't our kids. And we got attached to several of them. We got attached to several birth moms, but it wasn't right. And with each experience that we went through, we learned just a little bit more about the adoption process and a little bit more of what we wanted in our own adoption story. It took almost 3 years to the day that we filled out our papers, but a wonderful birth mother contacted us, and she just said, you know, I'm looking at your family, and I'm looking at other families, and you know, I'm interested in you guys. And it was just an email, and Rocky and I just looked at each other, and I said, Rocky, this is our son. He's coming home. He's finally coming home. And Rocky, of course, was protecting his heart. Rocky's my husband, and he just said, don't get your hopes up. But I knew it. I knew it was our little baby, and I knew that this is what we had been hoping for all those years, is to finally have this little guy in our house. And with every email that we wrote to our son's birth mom, we just felt stronger and stronger that this is the way that our son was going to join our family. She called us really, really early in the morning, one morning, and said, hey, I am heading to the hospital. Please come and be with us. So we got to be there when our little guy was born. And we actually, we got to bring him home on Christmas Eve when he was born, which was the best Christmas present ever. But for all those years that I was told that I couldn't do something, I never gave up hope. I never gave up hope of becoming a mom, because that was the one thing that I always wanted to be. And it sounds silly kind of in this day and age, but that is all I've ever wanted to be. We are hopeful right now. We just filled out our papers again, and we are hopeful to be blessed with more of these sweet babies and children in our home, and we're excited. We're excited for that opportunity. But I think one thing that kind of maybe defines my story is that there's hope. There's hope in every day. There was always hope to be a mom, and I never gave up on that. And I got to be a mom, and I am being a mom, and it's my favorite thing to do. just want you to know that there is hope in every single day. There is hope in the little things, even if it's a hope to make it to nap time. There is still something to hope for and to never give up on those hopes.